Hi guys, welcome to ZIBAKERIZ, and in this video I'll be sharing with you how to create this 3-tier Neapolitan cake. We're going to start off by adding some American buttercream to the base of the 4-inch chocolate cake layer, and to the top I'm adding some of the American buttercream and smoothing it out. And then I'm going to be creating a rim all around the border of the cake so that when we add the chocolate to the center it doesn't come out. Then I'm going to place the second cake layer over this and just press it in so it doesn't move around, and then add a little bit of buttercream to the top, smooth it out again just like we did with our previous cake layer, and then we're going to add a border all around the edge of the cake. Place the chocolate in the center, and then for the last cake layer we're going to place the cake layer upside down so we have a flat top. And then we're going to be doing a crumb coat. So a crumb coat is basically just a thin layer of buttercream that goes all around your cake layer, and what it does, it just prevents any of the crumbs from getting into your final coat of frosting. Once the entire cake is covered in the buttercream, you just want to use your bench scraper and just smooth out the sides of the cake, and then using your tapered spatula you just want to bring the lip of frosting to the center of the cake. Once the top is smoothed out, you want to place the cake into the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes or until it's firm. Now we're going to be adding our final coat of buttercream to this 4-inch layer cake, and I've already added some white gel food coloring to the buttercream, and this just basically ensures that there isn't a yellow tint to your buttercream. Now using a bench scraper we're just going to smooth out the sides of the cake, and then using a tapered spatula bring the lip of frosting to the center of the cake and then smooth it out again. We're going to repeat the same process by adding a final coat of buttercream to our 6-inch layered cake that has already been pre-crumb coated. So we're just adding our final coat of buttercream. So once the cake has been covered in buttercream, we're just going to use our bench scraper to smooth out the sides of the cake, and then using the tapered spatula bring the lip of frosting to the center of the cake and then smooth off the top again, and place the cake into the fridge for a couple minutes. Now we're going to repeat the same process again by adding our final coat of buttercream to our 8-inch cake layer. So I like to add a generous amount of buttercream starting from the very top of the cake and working our way to the very bottom, and then using a bench scraper just smooth out the sides of the cake and then bring the lip of frosting to the center of the cake. Then we're going to place the cake into the fridge again until it's firmed up, and that's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. So I have a piping bag that's filled with some American buttercream, and I'm going to be creating like a half fault line design on the bottom of the cake. So I'm only creating 3 rows at the bottom of the cake, and then I'm just going to smooth it out using a bench scraper. So you want to make sure that the bench scraper is only scraping the bottom part of the buttercream, so you're just smoothing that out. So once that's smoothed out, we're going to be using a striped cake comb, and we're just going to run the comb only on the bottom part of the buttercream that we just added. You just want to make sure that the cake comb doesn't touch the top of the cake, and then you just want to place the cake into the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the stripes have firmed up. So now we're going to repeat the same process again, and you can see that I'm kind of creating this up and down wiggle motion, and that just creates more of a fault line design. And then using a bench scraper we're just going to smooth out the sides of the cake, and then using our cake comb we're going to repeat the same process, and you're going to keep going over with the cake comb until you see that the grooves have been made nice and deep. And once they are deep, you're going to repeat the same process again on our 4-inch layered cake by adding that fault line design, smoothing it out, and then going back over with our striped cake comb, and then placing the cake into the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes. So now we're going back to our 8-inch cake layer, and now that the grooves have firmed up, using a Wilton tip number 12, which is a round tip, we will be filling every other gap with the chocolate American buttercream, and the remaining gaps will be filled with the pink American buttercream, and you're going to also alternate between the 2 colors. And once all the grooves have been filled up, you just want to carefully scrape it with a bench scraper until you have those smooth, even sides, and this does take a couple of tries until you start to get those clean stripes. So then you're going to repeat the same process again with your 6-inch layer cake by alternating between the 2 colors to get that beautiful Neapolitan design. And then once all the grooves are filled, you just want to smooth it out again with a bench scraper, and this does take a couple of tries until you start to see perfect even stripes. And then we repeat the same process again with our 4-inch cake layer. getting that beautiful Neapolitan design, smoothing it out until you get smooth, perfect stripes to show through. Now that all the cake layers have chilled, we are going to be stacking them. So for our 8-inch cake layer, we're going to find the center point using a ruler and then just mark their center. Apply a little bit of buttercream to the center, spread it out, and then carefully place your 6-inch cake layer over and then just center it and press it down. Now we're going to repeat the same process with our 6-inch cake layer, adding some buttercream and carefully placing our 4-inch cake layer on the top. Now to make the chocolate ganache, I have some already warm heavy cream, and to it I'm adding the chocolate. You're going to let it submerge for a couple of minutes and the heat of the milk will start to melt the chocolate. You're going to keep mixing it and you'll have this thin, loose consistency. After placing it in the fridge for about 30 minutes, you have this thick chocolate ganache. So over here I have a piping bag that I'm fitting over a large open cup and carefully pouring the chocolate ganache into the piping bag. And you don't want to overfill the bag because it can get difficult to create the drips. So then you just want to snip off a bit of the piping bag so that you can create the drips on the side of the cake. And to control the length of the drip, you just have to squeeze in one spot for longer and you'll get a longer drip, and the less pressure that you add on your piping bag, the smaller your drips will be. And for the design that I was going for, I actually wanted the drip to go over my float line design, but if you wouldn't prefer that, you can also create less pressure and create smaller drips. Then just fill in the gap of the top and then smooth it out with your spatula. So there are many different types of ways of creating drips, and they all create different types of effects. So you can also do it with a spoon or you can also do it with a bottle, but I just prefer to do it with a piping bag. So you're going to create these drips again on your 6-inch cake layer, and then you're going to repeat the same process again on your 4-inch cake layer, creating smaller drips and larger drips depending on how much pressure you add to your piping bag. And then you just want to smooth off the top as well with your spatula. Now I'm going to be showing you how to create chocolate covered strawberries. So over here I've already washed and dried the strawberries and I'm dipping them into some chocolate that I've warmed in the microwave on 10 to 15 second intervals. Once all the strawberries have been covered in chocolate, you want to place them in the fridge until they've set. Once they have set, we're able to add our second coat of chocolate, and over here I'm using white chocolate and I'm only adding the chocolate halfway on the strawberry and to create that Neapolitan design. Then once the second coat has also hardened, I'm adding my last coat, which is my strawberry or white chocolate that I've added some pink gel food coloring to. And I just dipped the tips to create that Neapolitan design on our strawberries. Then you want to place the strawberries into the fridge until they've set. Once your strawberries have set, you can carefully place them into position on your cake. And once you're happy with how you look, your 3-tier Neapolitan cake is complete. So now for the best part, cutting into our 3-tier Neapolitan cake to reveal the 3 beautiful flavored colored cakes on the inside, which is chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. I'm really happy with the way this cake turned out, both on the inside and outside, and I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel for a new cake decorating tutorial each week. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video.